Hey guys, T here. Today I got to look at the New Mexico for you. Tier 5 American Battleship. It's on a Neighbors match domination mode game. Here you got my Willis Lee build. Had I gotten Lee unlocked early, like months ago, I would have leveled him up more. But I just got him a couple weeks ago. I'm not heavily focused on the USN battleships at the moment. This is actually the last ship I needed to cover, so now we're actually fully... We've covered one video of each ship, so if you have questions about how to play any ship, I do have one video of each of them up at this moment. They're all in their respective playlists, so you can find them there. But had I had Lee unlocked a little bit longer, I'd probably put either Sheer or Takagi in the second inspiration slot. Both of them are kind of helping the durability of the battleships. USN battleships really kind of brawly. They excel more at the 8-10 kilometer range. Long range. The guns on the New Mexico, same guns on the New York. Wildly inaccurate a lot of times, which makes it frustrating to play, for me at least. But you do get an extra couple of guns on the ship, so because you have more shells in the air, you're going to hit a little bit more, just kind of how it works. So it's a little bit less frustrating than the New York. It's not my favorite ship of all time, but for some reason, the Arizona's kind of modeled on this one. I just seem to have a lot more success in that ship. I don't know if their guns are probably a little bit more accurate. But you can see here, we're just kind of taking these long range shots. And at this range, you're kind of just throwing them out there and seeing what happens. In my mind, I'm aiming these alright, but most of the shells are just dropping into the water, so that's what you're going to expect. Early on, though, you don't want to be pushing too aggressively forward, otherwise you're just going to get focused by the entire enemy team and removed from the game. But because of the good durability on these ships, you can kind of... you do kind of want to attract the enemy fire, but if you're doing so, you need to be angling your ship properly so that you can be tanking that damage. But if you're angled properly, a lot of the AP rounds will bounce off you. HE is what it is. That's one of the reasons to consider Sheer on a Lee build. He does cut down the fire chance a little bit, and he does cycle through the damage con quicker, so both of those are kind of nice options. And if I get around to leveling Lee, I would probably strongly consider putting him in on that slot. So, thus far we've been getting shots off, pretty much on reload, but that one didn't really look like a good shot. He was turning away, so I should have aimed that up a little bit higher. But, due to the inaccuracy of the shot, or the guns, I'm not suggesting don't aim properly, but I'm almost saying just kind of throw them out there. It doesn't really matter exactly where you aim them. So, at this point, you're probably wondering, nice replay, what'd you pick this one for? But this is just what you're going to have to expect with these battleships. I think people that have Sims as the commander, he's got some perks that tighten up your dispersion, accuracy, whatever. I was trying to get some shots on that destroyer. As a battleship commander, you do want to shoot the destroyers if possible. But he was slowing down to smoke. If you see the destroyers smoking, usually they're slowing down, so you want to aim a little bit closer to them than I did there. But I think I was talking about Sims. It might help the accuracy out having those perks on the ship. Obviously I don't have him, so I can't try that on. In my mind, I'm kind of thinking Lee might be better for some of the lower tier American battleships. You get an extra heal. Some of his perks are just kind of designed to help your ship survive anyways. It's more of a brawler build, so a lot of the perks are kind of defensive or survivability in nature. Here a destroyer did smoke me up. That's really nice of him to do. If you fire when you're in a smoke as a battleship, you have a massive penalty to the detectability that you're gaining from the smoke, so people would likely spot me anyways. But smoking me up like that, I'm just kind of letting my heal reload. I'm kind of letting the damage con cool down, go down a little bit here. Sucking the torp isn't going to help things much, but you know, people are going to torp smokes, so that's just how it works. But that actually was a nice supporting play from the destroyer. As a destroyer player, I don't usually look to smoke my teammates up, just because they're really useful for self-preservation. But if you can find situations like that where you have a teammate kind of getting focused down, and you can, you know, get a smoke deployed, keep them alive like that, I mean, that actually was a really helpful play. And had that not occurred, you know, we wouldn't be watching this because I would have died. And I don't typically show you 5k damage games, so. But no, once we got the heal off, once the damage con is close enough to reload it, and there's no reason for me to be sitting there. And you can see we got more torps coming in. I mean, it's just asking for trouble. You don't have the maneuverability to be sitting in smoke. And like I said, if I don't have anyone spotting targets, which I did in that situation, there's no reason to be in there anyways. So I decided to move forward, and they resumed to pepper me. Luckily for me, a lot of these ships are shooting HE, so they're not doing as much damage as potential. I was just going to say I should probably use that damage con due to the fact that I'm getting fairly low on health. And we're just going to kind of start kiting away here. You can... I was showing a bit of broadside again. I was getting away with it just due to their shell selection. But now we do have an Omaha who's attempting to push. And now take a look at the range target here. And this is kind of the sweet spot. It looks like it's about 7 kilometers away. And once we get these loaded, go ahead and line up a shot, put it through the air, and he gone. So, USN battleships, you want to get them in close. The problem is they have destroyers that are going to wreck you if you get them in close. So how you manage that is going to kind of affect how the game goes. So they had 1 destroyer eliminated. We do have 1 more over there. If that other guy can take him out, that would tighten things up, or lighten things up in terms of threats for me quite a bit. Because angled against these other battleships, I'm not as worried about them. I can bounce a lot of their shots if they're gonna shoot HE, whatever. Not that big a deal. Can manage that. But the destroyer, if he gets away from him, he can just continue to be sailing around undetected, torp me kind of at will. So I keep pinging him on the map, and I'm not doing it just to be annoying, although maybe that's part of the consideration. But it's a game-changing play. If that guy gets out of that engagement alive, you know, against 3 battleships, the game's over, assuming he knows what he's doing. And he got on as well. I mean, that's this thing. Once you land the shots, you land them. I mean, these are hard-hitting guns. Raw AP damage, 10,500. I mean, they're not the hardest hitting guns of the tier. In fact, looking at my chart here, they're the lowest damage in terms of AP. But I mean, that's still solid damage. Good penetration on the rounds. I mean, you don't, when you're playing USN battleships, I don't feel like, you know, you need to be looking at a ship you're shooting at and saying, oh, he's got really good armor, maybe I don't want to take that shot. Just go ahead and take the shot. So, tighten it up, 3-3 here. Got 3 battleships versus 2 battleships and a destroyer. So I mean, unfortunately, my teammate didn't kill the destroyer when it was spotted near him. I don't know if he was shooting at him or not. It's irrelevant. He's still alive. And that puts the advantage squarely in their corner. You know, these battleships, I'm not that concerned about. Again, I can just angle towards them like I'm doing here. Just fire the front guns. He really can't do much damage to me at all at this range. Now I can't do any damage to him at this range because these guns can't land on target at this range, but that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. I am bringing the rear guns around with the intention of firing full salvos, but as the guns are traversing, there's no reason to open up your ship as though you're going to fire all of them. You're just subjecting yourself to incoming fire and the consequent damage. So if you, while your guns are traversing, maintain a really steep angle. Gun lock helps a lot when you're trying to do this. you can just, when I'm watching these replays, you guys are sending me for replay submissions, I see a lot of players not using gun lock. It's a massive problem for a battleship if you're not, because if I just casually look off to the left, let's say I'm looking on the map and I see that destroyer, if I look over there, my guns are going to actually start turning back around the other way, and it's going to take forever for them to get on target. So I would recommend controller scheme 3 or 4. I think the trade-off is you can't watch your torps in zoom in mode, which you shouldn't be doing anyways, in my opinion. Maybe it'll help once in a blue moon with your aim, but in general I think that's just a distraction.
Confirmed penetration.
Whatever the trade-offs are, I would strongly recommend gun lock. I know there's good players that don't use it, but it definitely helps.
Bullseye.
And you see here we're able to pop some Citadel shots here on Congo. The problem is I'm primarily looking for that destroyer, and if he's there, I need to shoot at him, obviously. He's a far bigger threat to me and my team than the Congo. Luckily, we currently have all of the caps. I mean, they're flipping 1, which isn't the end of the world. But when my guns are loaded, I need to shoot them. So we need to be eliminating both these ships to secure the win in an assured manner, if possible. But every time I fire now, I got a long time to wait until I can fire again. Obviously, that's the whole point of the reload. But the problem is if the destroyer pops up during that reload, then I can't shoot him. So, you know, I think you want to keep shooting. You can make the case, maybe just hold on to the shots. At this point in the game, I'm just going to start sailing off anyways. Time's getting low. We got a healthy lead on the score. I'm low on HP. Presumably my teammate is as well. And destroyers trying to catch battleships puts you in the driver's seat in that engagement, because a destroyer that's chasing a battleship, if they torp you, they have to get really close to you to torp you. I mean, they can launch torps whenever they want, but they're not going to catch you because you're moving away from them. But to actually be able to torp you, they need to get within range that you detect them. And once that happens, then you can turn around and shoot them. You can see there, just even turning around, we got out of those torp ranges. So let's say he's following me at this point in the game. You know, to get within his torpedo range, he would have to get into a position where I would be within his blue detectability range on his map. He would pop up on my screen. I got the shots loaded. I got HE loaded specifically for this purpose. I would just blow him out of the water, you know, because he's going to be a close range shot. I'm going to actually hit those shots. HE is going to destroy his ship. Game over. So, due to the circumstances, I just sail away and we go ahead and win on points. Don't be a hero. I lose so many games because my team decides they want to eliminate every ship on the map, and then they lose. You know, this is a very clear win. Okay, there's no way they can make up the points. It's going to take them time to get to B. It's going to take time to flip that cap. The game's going to be over. All right. So recognize the win conditions. Yeah, I can probably sink that Congo if I wanted to, but I'm trying to win the game, and I'm removing all chance from the equation. So play smart, you're going to win more games, bottom line. Anyway, I'm just going to cut it here because the rest of it's sailing. So that's it for this one. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Questions, comments, leave them below, and we'll see you guys all later. Alright, peace.